Hey folks, this is Matt once again. I forget which review it was, but might have been executive decision. But I was going to talk with my friend Mike OCP again on Skype. And of course this time it's not system maintenance, it's a fucking outage. Because Mediacom are pieces of shit, incompetent, loser, fuck faces. So since I'm in a mad mood, why not talk about another piece of shit Steven Seagal film? As if the last 10 haven't been pieces of shit. This fucking litmus test of sanity, which is direct-to-video Steven Seagal movies. And this one, there's not even much to say. It's a remake of a Michael Dudikoff film called Black Thunder. Apparently, unbeknownst to screenplay by Steven Seagal and Joe Halpin, they were given a script. They didn't know it was a pretty much that movie, Black Thunder, with Michael Dudikoff from 1998. The writer of that film got like a special thanks at the end credits. And there are people on IMDb going, this seems like a lot like the other movie. And the writer of that film, like, wait a minute, you're remaking a film I wrote. And they probably cut him a check so that there weren't any lawsuits. But yeah, it's a remake of a Michael Dudikoff film, which wasn't even that great to begin with. And anytime you have movies dealing with stealth bombers or F-16s that's a low-budget direct-to-video film, more than likely is going to be a shitload of stock footage. And there happens to be a shitload of stock footage. Steven Seagal is an Air Force pilot who's been wrongfully imprisoned. First off, at the film, at the beginning, he's going to be mind-wiped. Chemically mind-wiped. Because I guess he has information that the government doesn't want him to share. And then some people there are working with Seagal, and like a nurse gives him something in his hand so he can let him out of his restraints, and he gets the doctor ready to mind wipe him and stabs him in the neck. And hits another in the face. Chops one in the back of his head, hides under a truck, when the guy looks under, Seagal's character is on top of the truck. And the plot, you have this guy who, there's a stealth bomber called the X-77, which can pretty much be invisible. And during a test run, the guy steals it. Meanwhile, Seagal has escaped. He's at a rest stop, and there's a hold-up. And he grabs a guy and throws him through glass. Or actually, he sort of grabs a guy through glass. He slides on the floor, shoots one or two people, and throws a knife at a guy's neck. He gets arrested, and when he gets arrested, there's ADR that's not Seagal's voice, yet again. Only this time is a gravelly one, like a very gravelly type of voice. Not as much as films like Submerged or Attack Force, but still some bad ADR that's, again, not his voice. Which is par for the course for Seagal. Because you don't see that a lot in Dolph Lundgren or Van Damme or other direct-to-video films. Just Seagal. And then the general, who was a friend of his, saying, I'm sorry what happened to you, it was bullshit. And telling him about what happened with the plane. And you get Seagal talking, and another guy's voice, that gravelly voice, bad ADR voice. Tons of stock footage of planes going back and forth, and F-16s and stealth bombers, as the guy stealing it, the traitor pilot stealing it, gives it to the bad guys, who are going to fit it with some bombs. Because, hey, it's a stealth bomber, and it can be invisible, we can bomb some shit. And you, traitor pilot, you'll get paid a shitload of money. This SEAL team, or they go in, they get killed. Then Seagal gets this co-pilot, and him and this younger guy go off, and their plane, they go to, I think, Afghanistan. where those two get in a little shootout with some bad guys. Seagal shoots some, knifes one guy in the head, and his co-pilot, his partner, gets taken and beaten up a bit. To get bad guys want some info. So Seagal breaks in to meet one of their contacts, sort of an ex-lover of his. But before he does so, he breaks one guy's leg and stabs him. Talks with his ex-lover a bit, and he's got to sneak away because other bad guys are coming, including one of our female villain. I guess for some reason they decide that the female villain is a lesbian, because the ex-lover Seagal sort of seduces this female baddie, and seduces and takes off her shirt and kisses her tits enough so that the good girl grabs the gun and tells the lesbian villain with her titties hanging out to leave. Okay, I got some titties, and that's unique. It's not too many times where the good girl seduces the evil lesbian villain. It's not too many times that happens. So I'll give the movie that. That scene. Titties. Then you get a lot of stuff of the bad guys talk about what they're going to do. They're going to bomb some shit. Seagal, his line of dialogue saying pretty much they're going... Him, the ex-lover girl who seduced the lesbian villain, and this third guy, those three are going to go in, try to rescue Seagal's co-pilot and steal the stealth bomber. And Seagal goes, we're going to jump in that bitch and fly her out. And a lot of talk in the command center where the general is talking with guys, you got all these schematics and all the designs and all the computer graphics and on the screens, and things going back and forth and numbers, and a lot of more talk at the command center. Just a lot of filler. Just a lot of filler in this movie. Literally, you could cut this film down to maybe 30 minutes. You really could. It's a lot of filler. That's why it's one of the lower rated Seagal films, because even for people who like those Seagal direct-to-video films, either they laugh at it or it's some silly shit, or here's just a lot of plain stock footage, a lot of people talking command center, and once in a blue moon, Seagal pops up to beat up a few people. For example, him, the good girl, and the third guy with him, they're in this car, they get stopped, and Seagal slices a guy's neck, headbutts a guy with a gun, and when the guy falls, he gets some blood on his mouth. And what the hell else happened in that scene? I think someone else shoots another bad guy. They leave. They get to the hangar. Try to get into the hangar. That's another scene where we get some bad ADR of Seagal. That's not his voice. They're planting bombs. The third guy sort of goes in kamikaze, shooting people, gets shot, does the grenade thing. I think his line dialogue is "kiss my Arab ass." I think that's literally his dialogue. And he is an Arab, apparently, from the dialogue, from the plot. That's what the plot says. He was the third guy. And the good girl fights the female villain lesbian and shoots her practical blood squibs. And Seagal and the good girl are kind of fighting these people in the hangar. You get Seagal running and slicing people's necks. Running, slicing this guy, running, slicing this guy. Takes a pole and beats the fuck out of one guy. I'm like, oh, he's getting a pole. No, I thought he was going to fight like a bunch of guys. No, he fights one guy with his pole. And this is a guy who has a bag over his head. Or like a big handkerchief. Has a bag or a handkerchief over his head. As Seagal beats him enough in the face that blood starts seeping, that you tell it gets, the stuff he's wearing is getting bloodier. I thought that was a nice little touch. But it's not gory or graphic or anything. It's just a nice touch that the more he beats him, the redder the bag he was wearing got over his face. I keep saying bag, but That's now he wearing something over his face. They rescue the partner, the co-pilot, and the co-pilot Seagal and the good girl are with the traitor pilot. And Seagal says, "I wish I had time to whip your ass and shoot you, but I've got to go." So Seagal and the good girl take the stealth bomber, and they leave the co-pilot with the bad guy, the traitor, and he's trying to get him into the other plane to fly home, but then the traitor shoots that guy, and the guy calls Seagal, "Yeah, I'm not going to make it. He's in F-16, he's after you," and that guy dies. And so Seagal and the good girl are in the stealth bomber, and you did some dog fights. At the same time, the military blew up the compound they were at, and you get some footage from Iron Eagle. And I know, because I saw Iron Eagle again on DVD earlier this year. It was fresh in my mind. I'm like, that's from Iron Eagle. And you could definitely tell, because you know how this is 2007, so the footage is going to be a little bit pristine, and then it cuts to grainier footage. Yeah, it's grainier footage because it's from a fucking 80s movie. It's called Iron Eagle. So you get some Iron Eagle stock footage. And then you get some dog fights and some more little shit. And ultimately, Seagal, he's playing his stealth bomber plane turns invisible and shoots a missile and blows up the bad guy. And I guess his code name is Bad Mojo, because like, "Base, this is Bad Mojo. Base, this is Bad Mojo." I'm like, your code name is literally Bad Mojo. That sounds like one of your fucking energy drinks, Bad Mojo. And then him and the girl, hey, they survived and they brought back the plane and the movie's over. And I literally have nothing else to talk about in this film because that's the entire movie. A Flight of Fury. I actually don't mind that title for a direct-to-video action movie, and they put it for this fucking thing. There's really nothing else to say about the film, Flight of Fury. A flight plan to freedom. Again, it's a remake of a 1998 Michael Dudikoff film. And I guess it wasn't the maker's decision, it was the studio, which Sony has been producing a lot of these direct-to-video films. I guess they just want a cheap as quick product, and I don't know, you hear stuff that's the studio, you hear stuff that it's the producers, you hear stuff that's the stars. I wasn't there, so I don't fucking know. Whoever's at fault with all these fucking direct-to-video movies. I literally want to take this and put it over my eyelids and close them shut so I don't have to watch these fucking movies anymore. But I'll keep going because, again, I said it in another review, these are a test of willpower, of sanity, and of endurance. How many direct-to-video Steven Seagal films can you get through before you lose your fucking mind? I just haven't reached mine yet. Close. Close. I mean, I guess you could say it's a step up from Attack Force, but a fart would be a step up from Attack Force. The teeny bits of Seagal beating someone up, at least it's Seagal doing it and not mostly a fucking fight double. Granted, it's nothing to run home about, but the little bits that you see Seagal doing something. Although at times it feels like sometimes I feel like he's barely in the fucking movie. But yeah, Flight of Fury gets a 3 something on IMDb, which I can't look because my internet's not working because MediaCom's a piece of shit. So, look, it's 15 minutes, and usually I'm a guy who talks a lot, and now it's even part with MediaCom talk. So it shows how little this movie offers. I couldn't even... Boom, I'll pretty much get 15 minutes out of it. So thanks for watching, take care, and stay tuned for more Steven Seagal shit. Later.